master the United Kingdom. Ling Pang on Bondi Tunes International.
Hi, this is Ling Pang for Bondi Tunes International, and I talked with Tony Mantor, who's a singer, producer, manager and owner of Plateau Music from Nashville. He has released a single called Why Not Me in aid of autism awareness, acceptance and understanding. Thank you for joining us, Tony. And I have talked to you before. The last few times we talked about your version of the song called Why Not Me. Since then, it has done really, really well. You did it to help charities, first responders or
first
people.
responders, the first one, yeah.
How life has been for you since you released your first song after many years away from singing?
Well, I do production development for artists, and they come in to Nashville, and I'll record them, develop them, get them ready for radio, and then if everything works out and I can wind up taking them and promoting them to radio, and then if they need help on the management side, I'll kind of guide them on what to do so they don't make those missteps that can cost them, their career or cost them, a lot of time in developing their career. So I made that transition in 1993 to move to Nashville and do that. Prior to that, I was recording and releasing a radio and kind of doing what everybody else that comes to Nashville and New York or LA does in recording. They hope that they can get their songs on radio and perform around the country and around the world, and that's what I was shooting for. But then I just had things happen that offered me the opportunity to get behind the scenes, develop people, produce them, manage them. So I decided to do that, and for 29 years down here, I've been recording, releasing, and putting into radio, and it's worked out pretty well.
You were not born in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm originally from a little town in Maine called Madison, and it's just a small little town, and I knew that I couldn't do what I wanted to do in music up there. So I had the opportunities because I was traveling back and forth to Nashville, met a lot of people. So I had that opportunity to move down here and start working in the production development because my contacts had those relationships over the years, and so they kind of helped me. And then once I moved here, they kind of got they had health issues and they wound up moving away, one of them, and the other one kind of went into its little cave and popped out every now and then. So, but that was the best thing that ever happened to me because I had to develop my own relationships with people. And by doing that, I was able to get people to know me for me rather than know me for the people that had mentored me. Mm-hmm. And so I developed that way. And because I'd gone to Berklee College of Music in Boston, and that college is one for jazz and blues, and it's world renowned. And I would tell people, I moved to Nashville and I went to Berklee, but I didn't go to Berklee just to produce country. And even though Nashville was country music, city of the world, it's developed now and grown so that you've got many different styles of music here. And because of that, I've been able to do R&B and jazz and pop and country as well. Mm. And it's worked out really good in the differences of singers that I've been able to work with.
You're also the owner of Plateau Music. Give us some of the names of the artists that you're managing or had managed in the past.
Well, there was an Atlantic Records singer by the name of Mila Mason. She had several big hit records. I produced and managed her in the 2015, 16 in that area. Because I produced and managed Jackie Wilson's son Bobby. I produced and managed Glenn Campbell's daughter Debbie Campbell.
Yes.
And now I'm producing and managing Happy Days Ralph Malph, Donnie Most.
People here love all kinds of music, so this is a market, UK, really, isn't it, for you to come to, isn't it, to bring musicians over?
It's a great market. I've been working with you know releasing singles and all that in
Yeah.
the UK for about 8 years now, and it's a really good market. The people enjoy music. It reminds me of uh, what the states used to be back in 30, 40 years ago, in that they like music because they like it, and if they like it they play it, if they don't like it they don't, which that's good, because that's the way it used to be here and in the states, until the corporate world took over, and it started becoming more about how much money can you throw at it rather than do you like the music. So I love the UK and the parts of Europe and to promote to, and because if you if you resonate with them and they like you, you've got a fan that will stay with you, and they'll support you, and that's very important in this world. So yeah, I love the UK, I love England, and all that, because just because of the way they've accepted us.
Are there any likelihood that any of the current artists that you are managing coming over soon to do some performances for the UK fans?
I'm hoping so. Yeah, we're going to release another single for Debbie Campbell early next year, and by spring, I'm hoping to have another single that's going to go out with Donnie, and at that point in time, I'm hoping that we can start working on some shows to bring them over and perform there. I think that would be awesome.
That would be lovely. Now, back to yourself. 2 or 3 years ago, you released your first version of the song called Why Not Me. Since then, another release, Rhythm of the Rain, beautiful songs, and now the third release of Why Not Me. But this version is a little bit more pop, isn't it? Tell us about your journey of this song.
Well, when the pandemic hit, I had friends of mine that were studio musicians here in Nashville that were busy all the time, and then all of a sudden the pandemic hit and nobody was doing anything. I mean, there was no studio work, no performances. I mean, it just went from 100 miles an hour to zero. So I had been working on my own CD just to have some fun several years ago, and one of my friends called me up. He goes, "Hey, we're not doing anything. Well, why don't we finish your CD?" And I said, "Well, if we're going to do that, we need to start fresh, because I did this 7 or 8 years ago, and now music has changed, and we need to approach it differently." So I started recording the album just for friends and family, and a few people that might want it. It wasn't anything where I was going to push it out to radio or try and be a star or do anything like that. And the promoters that I was working with knew that we all kept in contact during the pandemic, and they would call me, and I'd tell them I'm working on my own project just for fun and just to have some enjoyment. So they wanted me to send them some material that I was doing so they could hear it. So I had just received the song Why Not Me, and that song was so positive and so uplifting, and about never giving up on your dreams, and that's kind of what I promote on all my social media. And I'm going, I've got to record this. So I recorded it, and I've always been a middle of the road pop singer. That's what I never was country, even though my songs wound up hitting the country charts, because that country music changed so that the middle of the road Eagles style music, Bob Seger, lighter material, that type of music would actually hit the country charts. So I was hitting the country charts. So I threw a steel guitar into it just to give it a little texture like the Eagles used to do.
Wow.
And everybody gave this a perception of a country song. So we wound up releasing the song to country radio, and then at that point, I felt that if I was going to take and put something out there, I needed to do something to help somebody. So that's when I decided to do the first responders. So I did, and I did a video, and I got first responders from all over the country to send me pictures and short clips, and we put together that video. And over about 7 or 8 months, the song did really well in the charts, and the video got, I don't know, about 125,000 views, and then finally it started slowing down, and like every single will. And at that point, we kind of hit its peak, I kind of felt that was it. Okay, I had fun with it. I got a chance to do interviews. People got a chance to hear me and what I was trying to do. And then they all asked me for another single. That's when I put Rhythm of the Rain out, because I had done, it's an old '60s songs that I completely redid. It was a very fast tempo song, and I gave it a kind of a mid tempo flair and it went well, and people liked it, and then I kind of thought that was it. And so then I got a call from this lady, and she asked me, she goes, "Would you do something along the lines of what you did for Why Not Me for Us?" And so I said, "Well, who's us?" And they said, "Well, autism," because she is a speech therapist for autistic children. And so I thought about it long and hard, and whether I wanted to do it or not, because it requires a lot of effort, a lot of pieces to that puzzle to make it work. So I decided that let's give it a shot and see if we could help. And I decided to do a video and do the same treatment, but I changed the song to an adult contemporary pop style so that it wouldn't confuse people on why I have two songs that sound alike that's doing two different things. So that worked out well, and now it's been out for like 2 months, and I think I've got like 160,000 views and multiple interviews around the world, and we're talking about doing possibly a video series where I do different cities over a period of time, in here in the States and hopefully in the UK as well, to promote the autism and its understanding, because autism has an autism month, and it's April every year, and their biggest thing is their slogan is autism awareness and acceptance. I changed my slogan and I incorporated another word in there, and it's autism awareness, acceptance, and understanding, because I found that in talking with people and just finding, and people, and this is the beauty of what I've been doing, I get people all around the world that send me emails or tell me about their kids or their grandkids that are autistic, and tell me stories and everything. And one of the stories that kind of hit home, and that's why I put the understanding in there, is that people are fully aware of autism around the world, and when you're aware of it, they accept it. But just because you accept it doesn't mean you understand it. And I was told this story by a person that has a child that's autistic, and the younger brother didn't understand why his brother was different from him, and so they had to get into and start teaching him why he's different, and just because he's autistic doesn't mean that it changes his life, or he can't live a full life. And so there was a lot of understanding that needed to be given to this young child that didn't know. And I think that really hit home, because I believe that there's a lot of adults in this world that don't know. They don't understand it. And if they come along and meet somebody that's autistic, they might not know how to act or how to talk or what to say. So my whole feeling out of this whole thing is, if I can bring more awareness, acceptance, and understanding, so that people can relate, it might help society a little bit. And if it just helps one person, then it's been successful.
So this is a very important course, but it does vary, though. The spectrum do vary from person to person, isn't it? Some of them on a higher spectrum, some of them on a slightly lower spectrum. They're so intelligent. Some of them are good at computers or good at certain things that, they can offer so much in their own way. So therefore, the funding that goes towards the charity certainly will give them a greater help to put them at the right career path.
Yeah, I'm urging everyone to to donate to their local charities. I haven't teamed up with any national charity or any worldwide charity because it I feel that this is a community thing, and right now, until some things change, I'm going to try and point people to their local charities that need the help in funding, because there's always funding there for kids. And I say always, but most always there's funding for kids in anything that you do. But where where the autistic charities need a little help is in the funding for teenagers and adults, because with autism, once you're diagnosed and it's full on that you are autistic, it's not something they can give you a magic pill and it goes away. No. This is a lifelong thing that they have to deal with and learn how to make a transition into the workforce. And I think that's where the money is really needed, because I think a lot of the charities, have money for the kids to help them, in their speech therapy and any other things they may need. But when they can start getting older and start wanting to transition into the workforce, that's where we need to have that money so that they can help them. And I felt that this was a good cause, because I've got friends of mine that have children that are autistic, and I fell into that group that I was talking about earlier, that I was aware that existed. I accepted it existed, but I never understood it. Mm-hmm. I mean, when friends of mine would say, "Oh, my nephew is autistic and he's having a rough time today," I'd say, "Oh, that's too bad," but I didn't understand it. So then when this person came along, and because I had others that I knew that had relatives that are autistic, it's like, okay, I need to figure out how I can help. So I'm still a work in progress. I still don't have it 100% nailed down exactly how everything's going to go. But the one thing that I found that I thought was very interesting, and I didn't know this, but 1 in 7 people worldwide either know somebody or have somebody in their family that's autistic. But at least it's a start to show people that, hey, a lot of these people are just like us. They're out there trying to work. They're trying to make a transition in the workforce. They just have different things they have to deal with. We all have things that we have to deal with in life, but they've just been dealt a hand where they have a few more things that they have to deal with that we don't. So why not help them make that transition? And that's what this is all about. And if anyone goes and sees my video, and they can find it on YouTube and all the social media platforms and streaming platforms, but if they look at my video, you're going to see that wide spectrum that you brought up. I didn't just pick a certain group of people that are autistic to put into the video. I picked all across the spectrum. You're going to see people in that video that you can look just by seeing a picture that they absolutely need some help. And then you're also going to see people in the video that you can see they're working, they're learning, and they're starting to make that transition into the workforce. And then you're going to see people like the guitar player that's in my video that's fully functional, and he's made the transition really well, and he's on the higher end. So I've tried to show everything in that video where people can see the whole spectrum of what autism is, and my video just is the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that needs to be said and done.
The song, the latest version, has been released.
Yeah, we released the video on it 2 months ago, and released in the UK. Some radio stations have already started playing it, and we're getting that type of response, which is good. And if people want to take and donate to help me out, there's a place on my website, tonymantra.com. They can go to. They can buy the CD, which I'm going to donate money of that to charities. They can download the single, which I'm going to give percentages of that to charities. So if people say, well, I can't give a big amount, they can spend $1, and download the song. Just a simple $1. If I can get 1 million people around the world that can give $1 to buy the song, then that's going to give me after I pay all the royalties and all that kind of thing, that's still going to give me a huge amount of money that I can spread around to help charities and help this cause.
Absolutely. Can you mention your the link again to download the song, please? Spell
They
it
can
out.
they can go to iTunes, Amazon, any of the streaming platforms and download the song. They can go to my website, tonymantra.com. It's on the store where they can download the CD or they can download the single. If they can just download the song, I think it's like $1.29 on Amazon and iTunes. I mean, after I pay all the royalties and everything, if I can get, if it's just if 100,000 people around the world, or 1 million, or whatever the number may be, that would give me so much money that I could spread around to different charities and different communities to help. So we might not be able to give a lot individually, but collectively together, if we can do this, we can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. And would you like to introduce the song and who wrote it?
Dennis Welch wrote it. I met him a few years ago when I recorded a song that he and a co-writer wrote for a singer that I was working with at the time. And then when he finished this song, he sent it to me. He says, I just finished this song. I want you to hear it. And that's when I heard it. I heard the message it was putting out, and I said, man, I've got to record this. And I told him, I said, look, I'm not going to be a superstar. I'm not going to sell 1 million records, but I like the song. I'd like to record it, and the rest is history. I recorded it, and now it's had 2 lives of helping 2 different charities.
Thank you so much for joining us.
There's a mountain wide and high. It reaches halfway to the sky. In my heart, I know that I'm supposed to climb. Well, the fear's down in my soul tell me I might lose control. No matter what they say, I'm climbing anyway. Why not me? Why can't I? I'll never know if I don't try. Yeah, I might fail or I might fall. It's just a mountain after all. So why not me? There's an ocean deep and blue. It stretches out in front of you. On the other side is everything you've dreamed of. So say a prayer, then set sail. Stay the course, you will prevail. When the doubts start whispering, just lift your voice and sing. Why not me? Why can't I? I'll never know if I don't try. The storms may rage, the sea might roar. It's just an ocean, nothing more. So why not me? Why not me? Why can't I? I'll never know if I don't try. Yeah, I might fail or I might fall. It's just a mountain after all. Just an ocean, nothing more. Why not me? Yeah, why not me?
This is Ling Pang for Bondi Tunes International.